With the 10th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns selected Khaman Maluach out of Duke, and this is an amazing draft pick. The Phoenix Suns for a long time have been looking for a vertical floor spacer who can catch lobs and protect the rim to put next to Devin Booker, and this is a fantastic building piece towards that reset future that the Suns are looking at, trying to turn things around for the team. You're talking about a 7'2 player with a 7'6 wingspan, and just amazing shot blocking abilities and catching lobs like no one else. This a guy who can even develop into a much better player. This is a great pick, a very great value pick for a player that was rated as high as 5 or 6, maybe even could have gone at 3 in this draft had it panned out differently, but the Suns get him at 10 and they're pretty happy to do it. So today we're going to take a look at some of the film, some of the best moments, and some of the highlights, some of the lowlights as well of Khaman Maluach's time at Duke, one of the greatest college basketball teams ever in terms of all the advanced metrics. It really was led by, obviously, the number 1 overall pick in Cooper Flagg, number 4 pick in Con Knippel, and the number 10 pick, Khaman Maluach, anchoring the defense that was one of the best in the NCAA. So let's take a look at some of the film, and we're going to start it off with some lob catching highlights. The Suns have really been looking for a vertical floor spacer for a while to put next to Devin Booker, a guy who can really just roll to the rim just like this and catch lobs, finish them, and just throw it down, finish over some smaller players if needed, try to get through those tags that other teams might bring. And I mean, they might have just also acquired a player who does that in Mark Williams, in one of the more puzzling trades that we've seen in the drafts, where the Suns end up trading for Mark Williams about 60 seconds before they end up selecting Khaman Maluach. I like that that little catch right there, just showing he's always ready to catch a pass and just make a play. You need that type of vertical spacing ability. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit harder to get those in the NBA, but the ability to jump and catch lobs, timing, everything just looks great for Khaman Maluach. He's one of the best lob catchers in the NBA, or in the NCAA. And yeah, if you look at his cut statistics, he is one of the best in the NCAA. He averaged 1.49 points per possession on cuts. He averaged 1.76 points per possession in pick and roll man situations, which is in the 99th percentile. And he's just amazing. He's just such a great rim finisher, and he's also just an amazing rim protector. In these clips, we're first going to see his quick hands, something that might be more developed going to the future. He is able to get his hands on a few of these passes using his long wingspan, just getting in the way, just stick those hands out there, let them make a play. There's a steal right there, it turns into a foul. And then of course the blocking ability. Shot blocking is going to be Khaman Maluach's primary skill that we're going to see a whole lot of. He does a great job as a weak side rim protector, coming in to help out his teammates like Cooper Flagg, who stays down, helps out with a little bit of a contest to set up the block for Khaman, and he just does this all the time. This is what anchored such a good interior defense for the this amazing Duke team. And I mean, this is like a top 3 team, maybe top 2 team of all time in the advanced metrics in NCAA history. They were just fantastic, and of course they might have been doing it against some weaker competition, but Khaman Maluach was a huge part of it. He really was that, like, 3rd or 4th best player on this team, and he was just doing his role just so well, blocking shots, catching lobs, finishing putbacks when he can. And it was just really cool to see how well this man played. And there's some upside we're going to take a look at a little bit later. Attacking off the dribble. Okay, this song is going a little too crazy. Let me skip it. But yeah, showing a little bit off the dribble, showing a little bit as a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. But yeah, he just did a lot of good things, defending in space as well. He was pretty decent. Right here, we're going to see a few clips against Terrence Edwards. He gets switched on to Terrence Edwards and just shows a little bit of ability to move his feet. They're a little bit slow, they're a little bit sloppy, but he stays in front. He ends up getting the block there against Terrence Edwards, and we're going to see a little bit more this time against one of the better guards in the NCAA, and RJ Davis, a preseason All-American. He gets bumped a little bit by his teammate, ends up recovering for the block. And just his ability to recover, get back into the plays is really impressive. I think he ended up, no, he didn't get a finger on this. We're just going to look a little bit later in this possession. I believe it's another ISO against Terrence Edwards. Stays in front, doesn't, he's got a little bit of a shot clock situation, got 8 seconds left. He's got to do something with the ball, stays in front, gets a pretty good contest on that ball. Maybe NBA players make that play and finish it, but just solid ability, stay in front, don't let the guard go anywhere. Again, a matchup against RJ Davis, stays in front. He's going to get switched back onto. And all right, this ball is coming back to RJ Davis. I mean, or Elliot Cadeau. And yeah, Elliot Cadeau just takes advantage right there. A little bit slower foot speed. He's not the greatest in those ISO situations quite yet. He's still a little bit slow. It's not going to be one of his fortes, and teams are really going to look to pick on him in his first few years. But he shows some signs of being able to do things. I think Ian Jackson's, again, going to blow by him right there, and he's unable to recover back into the play. Sometimes he just gets blown by like that. He does really have good foot speed to try to get back into the play and recover and block the shot, but sometimes he's just not there because he's just not there as an outside defender quite yet, which is okay. There's always ways to compensate for that in the NBA, but there will always be some switch-heavy schemes where he's going to be isolated on a lot. We'll see what the Suns end up running with their new head coach, but yeah, he's solid enough, staying in front of Jamir Watkins right here a little bit. Jamir Watkins, little jab, tries to drive it onto him, good bump, and Jamir Watkins, he does settle into that jump shot, just showing, come on, could put on a little bit more muscle, be able to take that, absorb that bump a little bit better and get back to contest the shot. But it's an all right enough defensive possession at the end of the day. Here against Raynaud from Stanford, probably a second round pick, just stays in front, stays solid, does a good job there. Raynaud got him a few times, I think, in these other possessions, so that's a good solid possession right there. And again, I think he's gonna get switched out against RJ Davis in this clip. They're gonna set the screen, get him back switched out, which is Duke's scheme, just normal switching defense that Duke runs, and he just gets kind of cooked right there. A little slower foot speed, he's gonna get cooked. It happens, but it looks like we're switching gears a little bit here. Don't really know what we're about to see. Threw this together in a few hours, but yeah, just taking a look at this. He's going to be looking at these post possessions right here. Juwan Roberts, one of the better post scorers out there. Stays solid, and stays in front. Maybe gets a hand on the ball, or at least a good enough contest, and that's a good defensive stop. And moving on to the next one, you can see that Khaman Maluach is still very much a freshman. He's not totally in the weight room quite yet. And Norchad Omier shows that, yeah, one of the best post players in the league is going to take advantage of that. Goes right through him, puts him under the rim, finishes through him. Khaman definitely needs to put on some more muscle, but right now he's just not really the greatest post defender. If you take a look at his defensive metrics in post-up possessions, he's allowing 0.725 points per possession, which is 73rd percentile in the NCAA, and that's pretty darn good, but this is against a lot of games against lower competition in the ACC and the non-conference games that Duke played, so it factors in all of those. And yeah, you think about it a little bit more, he's being compared to non-centers, like it's not really the greatest metric for him. And he's also averaging 0.813 points per possession against isolations. That's 48th percentile. It's also not great for those possessions that might be post-ups, might be drives, whatever he's defending. He's not the greatest in these isolation possessions. It gets a jump shot over him right there. He's not great in ISO, but it's okay. He makes up for it as a weak side rim protector, coming over and help defense, and finding those plays where he can make an impact. He just needs to really get stronger, get in the weight room, put on some pounds so he can be a post defender, because otherwise he's gonna get picked on by some teams. Not a whole lot of teams nowadays, but definitely a few teams. Excuse me. And there's other ways to make the post inefficient, even if you can't defend them super well one-on-one. But yeah, he's definitely a player who really helps out this new age mentality for the Phoenix Suns. He's also got a little bit of a hook shot. It's a little bit lacking right now. I took a few clips at it. He really needs to work on these interior tools when he gets a catch inside the paint. If it's not immediately a dunk or a layup, he doesn't have a ton going on right now. He's not really got a post game, as we'll look at a little bit later. And yeah, these hook shots just sometimes just don't drop, which isn't like the most promising sign when he's playing against, you know, college bigs and like a lot of dudes who are not going to make the league. I mean, maybe Tomislav Visic will make the league, but probably not Ben Allen Lubin, which he gets the hook over right there against these Miami centers as well. Like, I'm not really sure they're going to make it either, but yeah, he's got just a lot of interesting tools that could pan out one day, as we'll take a look at in a few of the later clips. But talking about his fit with the Suns, he's gonna come in and probably compete to be the starting center. There's a very good argument for him to start, but really depends on where his body is at. If he can absorb the hits well enough and play enough minutes to be a starter, it might be Mark Williams' spot if he ends up staying with the Suns. I don't really know what the Suns are up to. They definitely need to make some trades, considering they have 4 shooting guards and 4 centers on the roster. Grayson Allen is probably on his way out. Nick Richards is certainly on his way out because he doesn't make any sense. And yeah, as we can see here, Khaman Maluach struggles in these post-up possessions quite a bit. He just doesn't really get much to go. He's get forced into a jump shot, which he just doesn't make. And yeah, there's a random rim rolling possession in there. Maybe there's just a few in here, a little bit disorganized. But yeah, little bit of disorganization in my clipping, but it's okay. Right here, we're gonna take a look at some threes. He's got a pretty nice jump shot. If you guys watch South Sudan, he took quite a few of them for that South Sudan team that had really horrible spacing. He liked shooting from the corner, especially in that South Sudan Olympics and qualifier Olympics team. And sometimes they just go in. He didn't really shoot particularly well from 3 this season. If we take a look at his stats from 3, I mean, the shot looks pretty darn good, and the Suns have done a pretty good job of progressing players' jump shots. He's 4 for 12 from 3 this season, or sorry, 4 for 16 from 3, 25%. And the shot looks pretty decent. And we just saw the Suns draft another player with a questionable jump shot in Ryan Dunn. And if I take a look at what Ryan Dunn shot from 3 this season, give me a second. I didn't have that pulled up, but Ryan Dunn, I mean, the Suns have historically been pretty good at developing players' 3-point shots. He did shoot 31%, but at least a far more promising developments than what we saw coming out of college, where he barely took any threes. I think he made more threes in the Suns preseason than he did in all of college, in his entire time in college. Yeah, the Suns can kind of work on those 3-point shots, get them a lot better. We're taking a look at some off the dribble stuff from Khaman Maluach. He's got a little bit of tools in his bag. He's not really the greatest at the moment, but considering there's all of like 5 or 6 possessions where he does go off the dribble for the entire season, it's not the most promising in terms of where he's at right now. But there's some sort of future for it. He's also got this little weird jump shot that he goes to. He shows a little bit of touch, but it's not a whole lot, not a super promising amount. Here again, off the dribble, there's an open lane. He's a little bit out of control. Maybe he even traveled on that one, but gets the rim, stays enough in control to get it down. And against some lower level competition, we saw a little bit more off the dribble, but it's still not very much. It's still not the most super promising, but at least he tries. He puts on an effort, and yeah, right there, you know, he's got an open lane, finishes and 1 against Incarnate Ward. Or, okay, you know, it's not really the best team to give an example of it, but at least he's showing about as many flashes as Igor Demon did against these low-level competitions. And yeah, if you only start against low-level competition, sometimes you get drafted at pick 9. So he's got all these other tools that he showed against everyone. And right there, that's a little bit of an offensive foul turnover, but just showing that he can finish through contact. Overall, I like the signs. I think he looks pretty darn good. I have a lot of hope for Khaman Maluach to pan out with the Suns. He's got a pretty darn good motor. He played for Duke team that was amazing. And yeah, rim protection, rim rolling, vertical threat, shot blocker, has, you know, a lot of developmental tools in terms of his quick hands, maybe being able to guard out on the perimeter, maybe able to develop that 3-point shot and shoot a lot better than he did in college, especially because his shot looks pretty good. And yeah, the Suns have done a pretty solid job of developing players like Mikal Bridges, getting Cameron Johnson to be an amazing shooter in the league, getting, I mean, I just think that little like Dario Saric blip where it just felt like Suns were just doing a great job of developing shooters. It's kind of stayed, you know. We've seen players shoot very well from three. Grayson Allen was on top of the league for a long time this season. And Khaman Maluach hopefully will be the next in that line of players, because the Suns could really use also a 3-point spacer at the center position. I don't really have faith in the other 3 centers on the roster to do that. And Mark Williams, I think he's been shooting them. Nick Richards and Osei Guedaro, I don't really see it happening. But Khaman Maluach's got a chance to shoot it and maybe do some stuff off the dribble, at least attacking in situations where it makes sense to go to the rim. But right now he's going to be a little turnover prone if he tries that right now. But there's at least some hope. It's a really, really solid draft pick. You know, maybe that highest end upside is not the most achievable, the most consistent, you know, track for him to be on. But there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of growth that he can have in the league. And that makes this a really great draft pick for the Suns. Just a perfect fit player next to Devin Booker. And that's all you can really ask for in the Suns, just trying to retool this roster. There's a lot of work to be done. I don't want Jalen Green on this roster, and I don't want Bradley Beal on this roster. I don't want to see Nick Richards on this roster. There's moves to be made. We'll see what the Suns end up doing. They also have second-round picks to take a look at. Probably need to address the forward positions, bringing some more size into this team. Maybe they'll target a trade up for Rasheer Fleming, or go after one of those older players in the second round. I'm not really quite sure what their plan is, but Rasheer Fleming is probably going to come off that board early. So if the Suns aren't up to anything in that early second rounds, then wait until those later picks. They still have 2 of them later on, I think at 52 and 59 right now. So they're probably not going to make those picks, but they're going to look to move up. They might look to move out. They'll probably make at least 1 second-round pick, I'll have to say, maybe 2. And they'll find ways to improve this roster. Probably a forward, probably a guard also in the mix. And yeah, I want to take a look at who are the available prospects. I mean, I think Rasheer Fleming is maybe the number 1 or number 2 prospect available on the draft right now. And yeah, this is, oh my God, this website is so impossible to navigate. Like, what is going on here? Let me see what it looks like on the screen. Like, where, oh, here we go, best available. Rasheer Fleming, Noah Penda, some guys with some like bigger size that are probably not going to be there, but maybe you take a look at. And Zion James, Kobe Brea, who measured in at 6'7", I believe. Like, oh my God, that would be a great player. Nice knockdown shooter. Trying to find like a cost-effective way to potentially replace Grayson Allen for whatever you can get for him. And maybe some other these later guys. I don't really know who else you're looking at here, but like an Elijah Martin or Ryan Nembhard to be a nice backup point guard. I don't know, whoever else you might believe in. I don't really know, but one of these other guys. But that about does it for this one. It's a pretty long video already. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, maybe scroll down and hit the subscribe button. And yeah, we might have to talk a little bit more. I'm hoping there's some more trades before I have to talk about what the heck happened here with Mark Williams. But yeah, Mark Williams, maybe the starter, maybe he's a backup. I don't really know yet. It's a really weird trade to me. Yeah. That one scares me a little bit. I don't know what we were doing there. I think it might have been, I think people were speculating that it was a trade that was proposed and then got accepted right before the Suns made their pick, and they weren't expecting it, and they ended up panicking and drafting Khaman Maluach, considering they were on the clock at the time. And yeah, it's a little bit concerning that we did that. It's a little bit weird. I was expecting the pick to be Carter Bryant after seeing the Mark Williams trade. I was not expecting to see Khaman come off the board right there, but you did get a much higher value player in Maluach than Carter Bryant at the pick. So it's a great draft pick for the Suns. Just everything else, oh my God, what is happening? I don't know. We might have to talk about it a little bit more later, but that's about it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.